Hello dudes, dudettes, and everything in between. I'm Lizzie, and welcome if you're new. If you're not new, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a video like this because, let's be honest, I'm lazy as hell and haven't really had any motivation, but we're back. Children's shows are a staple of pretty much everybody's childhood, whether it was a Disney Channel original, a random cartoon, or whatever the hell this Danish shit is about somebody's dick. Shows that you watch as a child have the potential to shape you as a person and maybe what you watch in the future. So today, I'll be going over some of the shows that others have watched and also some of my personal favorites as a kid. So without further ado, let's get started. 1. SpongeBob. This one is pretty straightforward and one that everybody should know, and if you don't know, you've been living under a rock or in a pineapple under the sea, I don't know. Anyway, this show, created by Steven Hillenburg in 1999, is obviously about a walking sponge and his many friends that live at the bottom of the ocean in Bikini Bottom, where the most notable characters such as SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs all work at the restaurant known as the Krusty Krab and go on many adventures in the sea, which often include Squidward getting absolutely sick of everybody's shit.
This was all my fault. I was the one who wanted to relax on Sunday. Now, if you'll be so kind as to leave so I can get ready for work tomorrow.
Mr. President, sorry, but we just wanted to...
Get out of my house!
And that is why he is me. Because I too am sick of people's shit. It is currently still going with new episodes being aired onto Nickelodeon, and they've recently branched out into the NFL for some odd-ass reason I don't really know and I don't really care. I personally never watched this show. Gasp! I know, I never got into it or watched it, but that's because my mother said it wasn't educational enough, so shut your trap. I'll watch an episode and not just clips of Squidward being a dick to everyone eventually.
Timmy Turner, how dare you come on the screen while we were watching the Lego movie?
You are either clueless, stupid, or both, because they probably shouldn't be caring for any kids, and the reason I say this is because they have the power to grant Timmy any wish he desires. Anything he could ever want is at the tip of his little 10-year-old menace fingers, and everything he asks for always leads to utter bullshit consequences, and the episode is then based on how in this 7 shades of shit, him and his godparents are supposed to fix whatever god-awful thing went wrong. And I may be totally wrong about this because I haven't seen an episode in years, but if I remember correctly, half the time they either didn't question whatever Timmy asked for, or they questioned it maybe like a couple of times and still granted the wish anyway, knowing how badly it would turn out. The show also ran from 2001 to 2017, so not bad for a children's show. 3. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now, this is one I can totally get behind. I didn't get into Courage until I was literally a teenager, and the show had already ended long before I was even in the sperm race, but it's a good show. Created by John Dilworth and running from 1999 to 2002, Courage was a show about a dog who was taken in by 2 owners who lived on a weird-ass farm, Eustache and Muriel. Courage is clearly a dog with paranoia and anxiety, which is pretty expected when you see the shit this poor doggo has to deal with on a daily basis. The farm is filled with ghosts and weird creatures and disturbing secrets, and every episode, Courage has to face his fears in order to save his owners from whatever messed up and weird situation is going on, which makes it even more fucked up when you realize Eustache likes to tease him and scare him when Courage is literally out here in battle saving his dumbass. For example, the episode King Ramses' Curse, Courage finds a stone slab near the farmhouse, and it turns out to be a slab that was stolen from a pharaoh's tomb that's worth $1 million. Eustache refuses to return the slab without payment, and the whole family suffers the 3 curses because of it. Courage eventually gets the slab during the curse of the locusts and gives it back, but when the locusts eventually leave, Eustache in his dumbassery takes the slab back and taunts Ramses, and then he's devoured. So in other words, Courage tried to save yo ass, and you couldn't resist being a grade A sack of horse shit. Hate that asshole. 4. Blue's Clues, the original with Steve. Yeah, we're not talking about this new Blue's Clues or that one with Joe. We're discussing Steve.
I am Steve.
To me, he's the only host. I refuse to acknowledge the others. Beginning in 1996 and sadly ending in 2007, this was a show that relied heavily on audience engagement, kind of like Dora or Diego. Every episode, Blue, the blue puppy, put her paw prints on things around the house and outside, and Steve, with the help of the audience of children, had to connect the clues Blue leaves with the paw prints to decipher what Blue wants to do that day. And that's the episode. But what's so magical about the original is that it has this video game or computer vibe occasionally where there will be like a little mouse on the screen that moves to different objects or that clicks on a door or something to go into the next room. It feels very peaceful. It also doesn't rely on loud voices or noises or constant flashing lights to keep the audience engaged. It just feels very relaxing, and it does have some songs, but they're not loud or chaotic or anything. You can watch the show without feeling like your eyes and ears are being ripped out of your skull. I feel like the new version of the show is trying way too hard to appeal to this new generation, and it takes away from the magic of the original that didn't have to try at all. I also probably would watch it now and still be dead-ass entertained. It was a great show. 5. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? This is one that, again, everyone should know at least a little bit. Beginning in 1969 and ending in 1978, this was a show that, despite not having many episodes compared to other shows, still somehow became one of the biggest hits that is still popular today. The show was about a group of friends and their dog, Scooby, traveling around and solving strange mysteries and uncovering new secrets, usually while going to or returning from their normal teenage activities. Think of it as a baby's first Law and Order, because I guarantee everyone who watched that as a kid grew up to love shit like Dateline. I just know it. Nothing much to say about this one because I didn't watch it growing up, but I have seen some clips and it seems like a pretty cool show. Once again, a baby's first Law and Order SVU. 6. Yo Gabba Gabba. Not much to say about this one either, although I did love it when I was a child. It's a show targeted at mainly preschool-aged kids, and it's about 5 goofy-looking monsters that would basically sing and dance like a more educational Teletubbies. Running from 2007 to 2015, it would combine live action and a cartoon theme to create a musical show that kids fell in love with because, let's be honest, and I love the show, so this goes for me too, kids don't need much to be impressed. Just some music, sounds, bright colors, maybe some lights, and you've got yourself a 10-star program on IMDb.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
7. Max and Ruby. Now, this one is one that I used to be obsessed with all my heart and soul. It started in 2002 and actually went until 2019, which is a long-ass runtime for a kid's show. It's about 2 bunnies, obviously named Max and Ruby, with Ruby being the older sister to her younger brother. It was basically the stereotypical sibling dynamic, with every episode starting with Max doing something to get himself in trouble, while Ruby, being the older sister, has to keep him from either getting yelled at, ruining something, or getting himself killed, because, let's be honest, that's every sibling relationship. And if you say you don't have that with your siblings, you're lying to me, and I don't appreciate it. It was another simple concept with simple animations that ended up being one of the best children's shows of that era, in my opinion, but I'm also stupid and biased. Ruby would also get incredibly pissed at anything Max did. Like, she was just constantly done with his bullshit, which is so real. I would have thrown him out a window. I swear to God, I'm kidding. Please don't murder me in the comments. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. Or would I do that? No, I wouldn't. 8. Wonder Pets. Now, before we begin, I do not want to hear any shit towards my boys in the comments. I do not want to hear any bullshit about this show. This show was iconic, and I will not stand for any Wonder Pets slander, alright? You will not slander Lenny, Tuck, or Ming Ming, alright? This was a show that started in 2006 and ran until 2016, and it was about a little turtle, a duck, and a guinea pig, and they would travel around the world and rescue animals from dangerous situations. It was basically 3 little baby animals being better superheroes than Superman, and the episodes would begin with them getting a call on their phone, and they'd answer it and go to whatever the problem was. And while we're here, I'm just going to say Team Umizoomi was also a W show, and basically had the same concept except with robots, and they'd help kids, which is why I'm mentioning it here, because it's essentially the same thing. 9. Handy Manny. This show does not need much explaining because if you've seen Bob the Builder, it's basically the same thing except more Hispanic and with smoother animations. It was about a man named Manny and his tools, and they would go around town fixing shit. Well, making a Hispanic do that, you're racist. It was a really good show, though. 10. Ubi. So I vaguely remember this show now that I think about it, but it feels like a total fever dream for some reason, so I'm not entirely sure I did watch it, but I'm putting it on here because my girlfriend loved that show and I want to make her happy, so shut up, we're discussing it. Beginning in 2000 and ending in 2005, it was a show about a hand puppet named Ubi and his hand puppet family discovering the world and going on adventures, celebrating the awkward and weird stages of growing up together. Think of it as Sesame Street, but with hand puppets instead of actual puppets. Also, remember that sentence I just said just now? I was doing more research to see if anything else was in the show that I could talk about, and apparently it was made by the writers and puppeteers of Sesame Street, which was also a Baldwin show, by the way. But everyone knows Sesame Street, so I'm not going to discuss that here. Now is the fast run section where I'll be quickly going over some shows and what they're about, but not in as much detail because I love these shows, but I don't want this video to be an hour long, so let's go. Martha Speaks, a show on PBS Kids about a dog who eats alphabet soup and because of that gets the ability to speak human words. Clifford the Big Red Dog, a show about a large red dog named Clifford who got to be that size because his owner loved him that much, and his friends who learn about how to be good people or good dogs in this case. Wild Kratts, also a PBS Kids show about a group of scientists learning about animals, a great show. Cyber Chase, a show on PBS Kids about a robot named Motherboard who was trapped by someone known as Hacker, and kids have to try and help save her using basic math skills, and they always get so close, but nothing they do ever works. And the show is still running, so I'm pretty sure they've got to be on statistics and fundamental physics at this point. My Little Pony, everyone knows this one, a show about ponies learning the power of friendship. Yay! Sid the Science Kid, a PBS show about a child named Sid going to school with his friends and learning cool science shit. Notice how most of these are PBS Kids programs? You notice that? It's because I was only allowed to watch programs about education or being a good person, but I don't care because I loved these shows. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Disney Junior show about Mickey Mouse and his friends once again learning about teamwork and the power of friendship because that's what 99% of kid shows are. Doc McStuffins, a show about a child doctor who uses her skills to fix toys and stuffed animals. It was one of the best things Disney Junior had going for them. I'm not going to mention anything Disney Channel related because I mainly want to focus on shows meant for tiny children, and most of the Disney Channel stuff was made for older kids, preteens, and early teens. Invader Zim, a show about a little alien creature thing who was sent by his planet leaders to infiltrate Earth solely to get rid of him because they feel he's an annoying little shit. So Zim poses as a human child successfully, and only one individual named Dib realizes he's an alien, but nobody believes him. I have so many more shows that I used to watch, chat. Not just the ones mentioned here that are obviously not even close to the full list of kids shows that have been popular throughout the years, but these are just some recommendations I received and some ones that I hold near and dear to my heart. This is also all just my personal opinion and preferences, so take what I say with a grain of salt, of course. Anyway, I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and subscribe to see more content like this in the future if you want to. I had a lot of fun making this, so I hope you all enjoyed watching it. I love you all. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.